Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to our next session, which is the corporate presentation, the first presentation on AI-powered EHS and ESG for India's HSE landscape. And do not leave anywhere. Please pay your attention for the next 20 minutes on this extremely valuable presentation to be given by Mr. Chandan Tiwari, Senior Director, Subscribers Development from APAC, Benchmark Gensuite on AI-powered EHS and ESG for India's HSE landscape. Let us welcome our next presenter on the screen, and can we have a big round of applause to welcoming Mr. Chandan Tiwari, Senior Director and Subscribers Development from APAC, Benchmark Gensuite. A big round of applause to Mr. Chandan Tiwari, who is going to present on stage on the topic of AI-powered EHS and ESG for India's HSE landscape. Chandan, welcome to the stage, and looking forward to a great session.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. Can we... Okay, good. So this will work from here? All right. All right. Excuse me. Good morning, everyone. So I think we had some interesting discussions on the last panel, and towards the end I think we also heard a lot about AI and how AI is really helping the process safety management today, right? And it is not just restricted or confined to process safety management, it is also impacting the other aspects of health, safety and environment and sustainability today. So what we will do in next 20 minutes is look at some of the practical ways how AI is really being used today across health, safety and environment. And before that, before we talk about or deep dive into the EHS and ESG, let me just ask this question to everybody here in the room. How many of us know this person or have heard about her or have seen her? Nobody? Okay, there are few people in the stage in the back end. So her name is Daila. She is the new cabinet minister in a country called Albania, and she has been entrusted with the responsibility of overseeing all the procurement process across the country. And the mandate that is given to her is to root out all the corruption, ensure that there is 100% transparency in all the procurement processes or public procurement process that is done across the country. And this is the big reveal. She is not a person, she is not a human being, she is an AI agent, right? And this is the very, I would say, bold step which is taken by Albania as a country. There are a lot of people who are criticizing this move and calling it a gimmick. They are questioning that who will have the accountability if something goes wrong. You cannot really blame an AI algorithm. And there are people who are calling this move, very futuristic, very next gen, right? But irrespective of where do you stand or what are your personal beliefs in, the key matter here is that this is the direction that all of us are heading in as a society, as EHS, ESG practitioners, and in our day-to-day life in general as well. So with that, I think if we look at the technologies that are available across EHS and ESG. This is a slide coming from one of our partners called Verdantix, and they do a lot of research in EHS and ESG. These are close to 48 different technologies which are available in market today that EHS and ESG is using. And you will see a lot of technologies here are already in growth phase. So things like video analytics, cameras. There are technologies which are still in the launch phase, and then there are a bunch of technologies in the kind of R&D phase as well, such as AI agents. And one of the key aspects that you will notice here is AI is very, very prevalent across all the technologies, all the newer technologies that are being seen for environment, health and safety. We work with a lot of you in this room, and in working with you in the conversation that we are having with our prospective customers as well as the existing customers, these are some of the trends that we have been seeing across industry that is shaping up. And I think AI agent is one of the things which is coming in the conversation again and again, how we can look at remove the repetitive task and kind of remove and reduce the element of human error that was spoken about in the last panel as well. The second aspect from a technology standpoint, a lot of people are talking about is leveraging technology in reducing the serious incident and fatalities, right? While we do have a way of looking at the low risk incidents, low risk observations, but then how do we look at those critical 0%, critical 0.5% observations which can really lead to serious incident and fatalities. So that's something that has been coming up as one of the key priority. Contractor safety is again getting a lot of traction and momentum. How do we really mitigate the risk across the value chain and the partners that we've been working with? Again, integrated platform. I think there was a discussion on sustainability and how EHS and sustainability now work hand in hand. So looking at a platform technology which can tie all those dots, connect all the dots and give you a holistic view of your risk profile. That's something again coming up as one of the key kind of requirement, along with the compliance as well. Now, I think from a Benchmark Gensuite perspective, we have been working on AI for, I think, almost now 4 or 5 years. And the way we have broken down the AI offering that we have across environment, health, and safety is in 3 different buckets, right? The first bucket, as we call it, AI helper. The purpose of these technologies is really helping people on the shop floor level, on the ground level, and help them execute a task and save some time, right, and increase the speed of that. The second bucket that we'll talk about today, and I will go online and I'll walk you through all of these examples here, what really exists today in the market. The AI assistant is the second bucket where you can look at automating certain workflows. For example, you don't really have to go and write or type a near miss. If you have a photo, you can just take a photo from your phone and then have this AI assistant transcribe and describe what you are seeing, and then put that thing into the words. And the third thing is AI agent, which can work as your digital co-worker, and it can really kind of help you do things or execute things on your behalf, and then help you review that also. So these are the 3, I would say, broad elements, broad categorization that we have from our assistant perspective. So I will now go online and let me just walk you through what some of these examples here. Can I have my browser on? No. All right. I hope all of you can see my screen. So the first thing that we will look at here is, like I said, how we can leverage AI in recognizing what we see in the photos. So at site, we really, when we go report a observation, unsafe act and condition, or even an incident for that matter, this is how we can kind of attach photos. And when we attach photo, we can also look at writing certain description. One of the AI helper we have, which we call as image analysis. The way it really functions is, if there is a photo which is attached, it can process that photo and then help you identify, recognize all the hazards that you may not have really recognized. The same, I would say, AI helper can also look at summarizing and transcribing the text that you have from that perspective as well. So these are some couple of examples that we have from an AI helper perspective. The other aspect that I wanted to kind of also talk about is that in any digital system, data becomes one of the key aspects, and at the end of the day, it is garbage in, garbage out. If we do not really report a good quality of data, the end output does not really make any sense. So from that perspective, one of the AI that we have been working on is how do we really improve the quality of the description that goes into the system. This is where we have something called writing help, and in this example, I have typed some description, and I've also provided some personal details, a name of a person, which is where I'm getting a flag that there is some PII information which is available in here. It is also rating the response. It seems it is a very weak response. So let me also type some more details here, that the worker was hit by a forklift and fell into a ditch. And you will notice that as I type and provide more information, the AI will ask me some follow-up questions based on the context that we have. And since I spoke about fell, it is now asking to also define the height of the fall, because that is what will really ascertain the severity, the consequence of that particular fall, right? So this is what we call as writing help or writing advisor. This can also kind of further work with the generative AI, and whatever I have typed here, like how today we polish our language with ChatGPT before we send any email, it can take that description and then it can also ask you certain follow-up questions in terms of, please define, looks like the location is not defined, looks like the time is not defined, the task that you are doing, the chemical that you were working with, all those things are not really defined. So this is something where you also get some follow-up questions to really improve your description. Similarly, the other aspect of AI is really processing the information which is available at your hand. So this is an example of action management system that we have. And while one of the way for you to really understand the trend of corrective preventive action is looking through the charts, dashboards, the data mining reports that are available. But what you can also do is interact with this platform using this generative AI and really ask them questions in the natural language, and have AI look at your entire data set and then have it summarize for you. So in this case, the AI is telling me that 94% of my actions are past due, 47% of them are regulatory. So it is giving me some quick tips about my data, so that I don't have to really spend 1 hour, 2 hours in synthesizing and understanding what these trends are telling me. Similarly, from an incident or injury perspective, again, if I really want to understand what is the nature of injuries, what is the nature of root cause, corrective actions that are coming from the investigation, AI can again look at all the data which is already logged into the platform and give you injury pattern, your injury overview, the different risk factors which are recurring in nature, and help you identify and connect those dots very quickly. The same can be also applied in sustainability reporting. So those who are reporting on BRSR or any other ESG framework, you are collecting your operational data to report out your scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 emission, your I would say wastewater footprint, your intensity, your social and governance data. And all of you would agree that it is extremely difficult to ensure that there is no error in the data which is being reported. So this is where we also have an audit agent as a part of sustainability platform, which can look into the trend of the data that you have and help you highlight any inconsistencies that you have, data errors that you have, verification status, whether the data is verified or not. So it can give you, acts as your internal auditor before you really go through the external assurance program. So these are some of the examples of the helper that I wanted to talk about. Now I will show you the second category where we spoke about the assistants. And one of the assistants that I wanted to show you is, let's say you are at site, you are using your phone and you want to report an observation or a near miss. One of the way you can do that is just tap on mic and it will start recording your audio. You can speak in your own natural language. You can speak in Hindi, Tamil, any language, and it will transcribe that into English and put it in a nice I would say structure for you to report out. The other thing that you can also do here is use the image assistant. So in this case, I am just taking this example. A worker is using this saw cutter and trying to cut a rebar, and this is the photo, let's say, I have captured and uploaded using my phone. So what will happen here is the AI will analyze this photo, whatever image input you have provided. It will look for details such as description, date, and it will start populating that form on your behalf. So what you see here is, worker operating a cutoff saw, and it has whatever was visible in that photo is something that it has already transcribed and described. It has also picked the location depending on when and where it is reported, and now you can kind of go and add more details, additional details if you want. So this is where it really helps people who may not have the competency to, I would say, articulate or really understand, apprehend the nature of risk that they are reporting, and provides you a very easy way for the reporting aspect as well. Once, let's say, the observation is reported, the second aspect typically that comes is looking into the investigation. This is where the second workflow engine comes into picture, which we call as, I would say, PSIF advisor. And the idea here is that whatever observation or whatever incident description that you are providing here, it gets compared with the database of 200,000 plus incidents and fatalities that we have in our database. And basis that comparison, it can tell you whether what you're reporting today, and it could be reported as a first aid case or a near miss, but it will tell you that the similar description had the potential of converting into a fatality for other 2,200 cases that we have in the database. And it tells you that with similar description, there have been 2,200 incidents where a person has had a lost time injury, and 87 counts where someone had a fatality. So it really helps you, number one, identify those hidden potential, underlying potential in the description that you're providing, and help you kind of benchmark whether you are categorizing this particular incident into a low severity incident just based on the outcome, but is it really a low severity incident or not? The other use case of AI in the same process is also for the investigation, and a lot of us as EHS practitioners, we use the YY analysis for incident investigation. So this is where again 5-5 causal analysis based on AI. It takes into account everything that you have provided for that incident, your notes of investigators, the description that was reported by the initial person, and taking everything into account, the AI here can look at generating the different causal conditions, different critical factors that you had in this incident. And in this case, I think it has generated bunch of causal condition for me. So I can kind of go and make some tweaks, or I can simply just go with whatever has been provided here and click on add problem statement or conditions. Now with this, I get 3 different branches, and for every condition that has been added, I can start doing a YY analysis using AI. And all I need to do is click on suggest, and this is where AI will start generating possible why statements for this particular critical factor. And again, it will continue to give me different branches, and if I feel that this is most appropriate first why for this particular critical factor, I can start adding that as first why, and then I can start looking for the second why, the subsequent why for this. And this way I can completely go and complete the investigation with the help of AI. There are other capabilities from an assistant perspective wherein you can also use AI to create a very crisp summary of lessons learned, which we typically share with the external stakeholders or a wider audience. So that is something again can be created using AI. The other aspect, again from an assistant perspective, is helping you come up with all the corrective preventive actions once you have completed the investigation. So in this case, I am on a program called Action Management or Action Tracking System. I do have a finding which is coming from one of the inspection and audit that was conducted, and now I want to come up with the corrective preventive action. So this is where again using the AI, I can look at creating the corrective preventive action, and this assistant will give me a first cut draft which I can see, and this is where I do see that there are multiple categories of controls which have been proposed, right? There are certain things which is related to training, related to certain preventive actions, certain administrative control, which has been offered by AI, and this is something I can go back and again change. So the idea is that you don't have to just go with what AI is telling you here, but it gives you a very good starting point for you to kind of go back and edit and then change it according to your requirement. So these were some of the use cases of assistant AI. I will also very quickly talk about one of the very popular tool that we have, which is called Risk AI, and this is more of an executive decision making tool which helps you look at all the different data streams which is coming from different platforms you may have, and across every platform or every data point, it can analyze and it can tell you whether this could have been a serious incident or fatality, or did it have I would say potential to convert into a fatality, which we call as precursor. So just to give you an example, if let's say I have reported an observation or maybe an incident which says that there was a small fire incident which happened and it was immediately controlled, but it happened next to the fuel storage. So the AI will recognize that as a serious a incident with serious potential because it happened next to the fuel storage. But if you are seeing a lot of instances of people not using fire extinguisher or not having fire watch or not taking hot work permit, then those are the things that will be recognized as what we call as precursor. And these two elements are fed into an AI algorithm where we have a very detailed mathematical model to help you come up with the quantitative scoring of your risk profile. So in this case, if I just simply click on this risk score details, you will see the maths behind this, wherein you will see that every category, risk category this AI is identifying, it is given a weightage based on the inherent risk score that they have. And whether it is a precursor or a PSI, basis that you get an average risk rating for that. And that is something that can be then used to project and present the heat map here. So it looks like I lost my connection here. Let me just see if I can refresh this page. So this is what the final outcome will look like from a representation perspective, wherein I can see these small green dots, and it looks like this is a fire and smoke risk. The record count is 75, which means 75 number of times the AI has processed an observation which was or an incident or an inspection finding which had something to do with fire and smoke risk. But the weightage risk score is 87 because the inherent risk probably in that observation was not meeting that ceiling. But here if I see fall from height, where the number of records is relatively low, it is only 57, but the average risk score is very high because the severity of those observations were very high. So again, a very good way for you to understand where are your risk hotspots across your organization. You can do this from an activity perspective, or you can also do it from site perspective as well. So if let's say you're working with 500 projects across your organization and you want to see which are the sites where you have maximum risk potential and where you want to reallocate some of your resources. So that's something that you can do using this tool as well. I will now move to the final and the third category that I was talking about, which is the agent. And one of the things that we have started working here from an agent perspective is how do we look at compliance. And one of the examples that I wanted to share here, while I'm sharing an example which is very focused on environment, but this is something which can also be used for any other regulatory compliances that you may have. So what I'm going to do here is I have downloaded from internet one of the consent or environment clearance for one of the Adani site. It is available in public domain, so that is why I'm using this. And what I will do is I will upload this or feed this information to the agent, permit agent that we have. What it will do is it will process all 20, 25, 30 pages of document. It will read through each and every line, and then it will start analyzing it and understand what type of this document it is, what are the different things which are defined here, and what are the actions that someone needs to take as a human being, right? So again, like I said, the overall idea of agent is create a digital co-worker who can execute things on your behalf. And what you will see here is that this is a permit overview. It talks about the authority, validity, the parameters required, monitoring requirements, reporting obligations, the critical deadlines, what are the major requirements, what are the things that you need to focus on. And this is something, you would probably argue that this is something that ChatGPT can also do. But the differentiation here is once it is uploaded and processed by the AI agent, now it is seamlessly connected with your digital EHS system also. So let's say I want to carve out all the compliance requirements from this particular document and then have them assigned to different sites, different people, and have it tracked on a quarterly basis, on an annual basis. So that is something that can be done in a click of button, right? So and this is something which can be applied to anything. I think we tried it with the OHS code and it worked wonderfully, although it was a quite a long document. But this is where, as you can see, you will get a list of all those requirements, and all I need to do is click on add to compliance calendar, and compliance calendar is the tool where we can just kind of go back and assign it to different people, assign a category, assign the plan, and so on and so forth. So this is how you can look at operationalizing, use AI to first deconstruct the different requirements, regulatory requirements that you may have, and then use it for operationalizing it. This was just one example of permit agent or the agentic workflow that we have. We have several other use cases. So if there are any other, I would say, ideas, thoughts you have, or problem statements that you have, please feel free to kind of visit us. We have a booth right outside this room, and we'll be happy to kind of have a conversation with you further on that. Yeah. So that's about it from my end.
Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, can we have one more round of a big applause for Chandan Tiwari here? Chandan, presenting on AI-powered EHS and ESG for India HSE landscape. And I would like to reiterate what Chandan said. The entire team of Benchmark Gensuite is there with their booth. So Chandan and the entire team will be more than happy to take your questions, more than happy to explore and showcase their products and services. So please do take out time during the networking sessions to visit their booth, learn more about their offerings. Now, in the interest of the time, we are already time's up, but we can take one quick question. For the rest of the questions, the whole day, Chandan and the team is there. So please do visit their booth. Any question for Chandan? We can take one quick question. Please raise your hand. We'll pass on the mic to you, and you can introduce yourself, your organization, and the question to Chandan. Do we have any questions from the floor? Any question? Well, sometimes when you are fantastic, there are no questions, I believe. So, Chandan, I would request you to kindly stay on stage, and I would like to call on stage for felicitating our honorable speaker here, Mr. R.K. Singh from JSW Steel. Mr. Singh, can we have you on stage, please? Welcome, sir. And can we have the certificate for Chandan? A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That was Mr. Chandan Tiwari from Benchmark Gensuite on that fantastic presentation on AI-powered EHS and ESG for India's HSE landscape. Thank you, Chandan, for that wonderful session.